I'm interested in the inspiration and the motivation behind you taking on this mission, essentially. It is a mission. Today, there was an amazing picture that's gone viral all over the UK of you standing at the statue of Christ the Redeemer, and they compare it to your mother standing there back in 1991, I want to think it was that year. And she, of course, was prominent in basically in humanitarian activities and mine clearing. But your father also was prominent, and some would say, many would say, ahead of the curve on climate, environmental conservation. Did he motivate you, inspire you? Because it's interesting to know how you got to this point.
I think it's a combination of all of that. I'm very lucky to be in this position and use my platform for good. And whenever I'm doing stuff, I'm constantly analyzing where best can I use my platform for the greatest impact. And talking about the Earthshot was always an idea that positivity and a positive message to anyone brings out the best in them. There's a lot of negativity, a lot of telling people off, don't do this, don't do that. It doesn't work. And as you can see, you give the right people the right tools and resources, they flourish, and the impact they can have is truly phenomenal.
What about storytelling? One thing I, as a journalist, see is that many powerful leaders, both political and, in fact, industry leaders, tend to roll back climate progress, tend to demonize it, weaponize it, let's say. Obviously, they have a vested interest, but do you think there's a dearth of this kind of storytelling that we've heard today, these kinds of positive reinforcements? And I wonder what your view is on that, and what you tell your own young children about climate and planet care.
I think exactly on that last point, Christian, it's really important that the next generation believe there is change coming and there is hope that things can change and get better. I've always believed in that positivity and that positive message. But I think I'm inspired by these guys. That's what gets me up in the morning when I think about Earthshot. That's what's given me the motivation and the energy to keep going. And the community that's come around them has been truly phenomenal. I'd like it to be bigger, and at many points this is a rallying call for those businesses and those people who out there who may not have had contact with the Earthshot Prize before, may be interested. They need to come and meet these people, because once you've met them and you've heard them, you realize this is not anything that's it's not philanthropic, it's not a nice thing to have. They're commercial products that are going to make life better. They're going to create jobs, they're going to do incredible things for the planet, and they're going to make our lives better and healthier.
You and the Princess of Wales are also you have another big project, which is mental health. And I ask this in view of the children, your children, the world's children, who are forced to watch on their iPhones wars, wildfires, destruction, all sorts of really difficult things that has affected them a lot. We even hear about children, because of the climate disaster, not wanting to grow up and get married and having a family of their own. What do you think about trying to mitigate that fear for them? Is it something like the Earthshot? Is it the hope that you can tangibly show people the action?
Definitely. Again, I think a world without hope and a world without positivity is a pretty depressing place. And I think it's really important that we produce solutions. We don't just talk about things the whole time, we're actually producing solutions. And these finalists, these winners, are producing solutions that we all need to see and hear. Climate anxiety is a real thing.
Yeah.
I hear about it wherever I go now. Lots of younger generation are saying, well, what kind of a planet are we going to inherit? And I think that message needs to go wider and louder, and the younger generations need to be heard more. I mean, I had a fantastic session with the youth of all parts of the world dealing in the environment, and their message was very strong, which is that please let our voices be heard more. And we don't want to be a box ticked. We want to be actually heard and hear and seen and listened to. And again, that inspires me, but I've got to find out ways to help them be seen and heard more, because there's a lot of noise out there, as you hinted at, and we have to find ways for these brilliant people who are going to ultimately save us and the planet to restore and protect ourselves. We have to find a way to allow them to be heard more.
So you know that you're somebody that people all over the world look to, they follow your every action, every word, including some of the stuff you've been doing recently publicly. I've watched with great interest the encounter you had with the great writer and producer Eugene Levy. And you talked about a lot of things, and it looked to me like you were humanizing the monarchy, and it was very interesting to hear where you focused. But something that drew a lot of interest was when you said to Eugene, I think it's safe to say that change is on my agenda, change for the good. I embrace that and I enjoy that change. I don't fear it. And you went on to say, you know, I want to make sure that this is a job that impacts people's lives for the better. I want to create a world in which my son is proud of what we do. And, you know, given the fact that, you know, there's been a lot of change in your own family recently, and you yourself have talked about this change, just talk about that a little bit. Where do you see the change? What do you think needs to happen?
I think the Earthshot Prize is a classic example of change. Rather than talk about it, we're doing it. And that's where I want it to be, is that these people in here are the true action heroes of our time. And change will come by backing them, not by what I do. And so I want to surround myself with people who want to make change and do good in the world.